You are out in the field with a camera, surrounded by the raw, massive energy of an environment. But translating that physical presence through a screen is notoriously difficult. The visual alone rarely captures how a place actually feels. The default industry fix is to grab an atmospheric audio track. Usually that means layering a passive, generic ambient loop over footage of a dense forest or a jagged mountain pass. Pairing a wild, unpredictable landscape with sleepy background noise creates immediate friction. The audio dampens the visual. The resulting video is flat, causing the audience to tune out instead of pulling them in. True immersion requires momentum. Exploring the wilderness takes physical exertion, and an audio track without any corresponding energy will always fail to replicate that experience. That brings us to a specific audio resource titled Rhythmic Serenity of the Northern Indian Highlands. Looking strictly at its metadata, it promises exactly what you might expect. The tags describe a tranquil sonic backdrop engineered for chill hill station vibrations. Press play, however, and the experience diverges immediately. Beneath this surface-level ambience, there is a driving, persistent pulse that aggressively pushes back against the idea of a laid-back, relaxing soundscape. To understand why this piece of audio is so effective for visual storytelling, we have to ignore the tags attached to it and examine how it is actually built. Stripping away the superficial wind and atmospheric echoes reveals a rigid foundation underneath. The momentum comes entirely from the continuous, locked repetition of a single vocalized word. There is no shifting melody or traditional chord progression. The track builds its architecture entirely by stacking this single, unyielding loop over and over again. It functions exactly like the cadence of a grueling uphill hike. You stop looking at the peak and lock your attention entirely onto the steady, alternating impact of your boots hitting the dirt. By stripping away musical variables, the audio forces the brain to stop anticipating the next note and instead anchor directly onto a constant physical rhythm. This specific focal loop creates a strict, trance-like intensity. When encountering unyielding repetition, the brain stops trying to decode the information. It drops its analytical filters and surrenders to the momentum of the groove. There is a distinct tipping point. You expect a quiet background texture and suddenly realize your attention is entirely consumed by the forward push of the beat. The mind stops wandering. It is sharp, locked in, and moving with intent, a stark contrast to the initial promise of a tranquil sonic backdrop. The repetition acts as an anchor. It pulls the listener out of an idle state of rest and drops them right into the center of a demanding auditory space. This internal, psychological state maps directly onto the physical reality of the northern Indian mountains. The echoing word reverberates like sound moving through a massive, empty valley. It implies extreme distance, bouncing off sheer rock faces into the high-altitude air. That narrowed, hyper-focused state of mind reflects the extreme isolation found in the remote retreats built precariously along these ridgelines. Moving through this terrain is harsh and physically taxing. The driving audio loop reflects the stamina required to navigate such an unforgiving space. This resource succeeds by bypassing literal mountain sounds entirely. Instead, it mechanically replicates the physical and psychological toll of actually standing inside one. Stepping back from the music itself, we have to look at how this piece functions as a practical asset. Ultimately, this is a highly functional, royalty-free creative resource engineered for content creators. By utilizing this tight, looping structure, editors can apply immediate depth and gravity to visual sequences that might otherwise feel disconnected or hollow. It provides a thick foundational layer of energy that actively supports and elevates the visual story happening on screen. For years, cinematic serenity has been defined by silence and soft, passive tones. This track offers a completely different model, driven by heavy, continuous rhythm. The wild is rarely peaceful. Transporting an audience into a severe, untamed environment requires audio that matches the relentless reality of nature. To properly capture the essence of an environment on screen, you have to lean into the intense, driving pulse that exists just beneath the surface.